Coming up on this episode of The Village Idiom.
Whoa.
Do you know what Snoop Dogg calls the fatty part of his steak?
Wait a minute. Let me think about it. The lardizzle?
The grizzle.
Oh, man. Yeah.
What do you call it?
The lardizzle.
Dum dum da da, Village Idiom.
Hello, and welcome to The Vizzle-izzle.
We are a podcast that every whizzle chooses a popular saying to take a shizzle.
Don't take a shizzle.
But hopefully comedic and once in a while even into rizzle, dizzle into its mizzle, its usual, and it's a rijizzle. But we're also going to use it to hang our otherwise directionless conversizzle on. My name is Jerizzle Mizzle.
And I'm Skizzle. So good.
That was terrible.
That was the 1990th entry that I think we've ever done.
Although I've heard
10 points.
The Izzles come out from a million mouths, I'm pretty sure it's all credit goes to Snoop, right?
It's got to be the Snoop.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Snoop Dogg is the founder, the fizzle of the Izzle Dizzle.
Truly. The fizzle of the Izzle Dizzle. It's the Rizzle Dizzle with Snoop. Does he ever call himself Snizzle?
I don't
Snizzle Dizzle?
No. Snoop Dizzle, maybe.
Snoop Dizzle.
Yeah. It gets worse.
What do you mean?
I don't know, like Snoop Drizzle. That's not good.
If you...
You got a poop drizzle? Poop dog.
I think that's a side effect of some of my prescriptions. Poop drizzles.
If this prescription gives you poop drizzle, please consult a doctor. You need to see a doctor. You're experiencing something terrible.
Terrible.
Some tizzle.
Well, here we are again and in full form for the Vizzle. It doesn't work on Village Idiom.
The Vizzle-izzle?
The Vizzle-izzle. But that you'd
be
never
so many
guess what
things.
we're saying.
No, that's the fascinating thing. Is
The
that often
Vizzle-idiozzle.
the Vizzle-idiom.
That's it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because often
Now everyone will get it.
Because often you can understand what it means. It does make sense on some level.
That's the amazing part. It's
Your
like
brain just fills in the missing pieces.
fizzles in the mizzles.
The missing izzle. Yeah.
Fizzles in the mizzle in for mizzle.
It's so good.
Rizzle?
It's like pig Latin.
Right. After a
He
while,
made his own pig Latin.
it's not quite as elaborate as Pig Latin.
It doesn't have to be like high level, but it's his. And he made it, so that's
We
good.
had a different form of Pig Latin growing up, me and a buddy. I'm trying to remember. It was like, so Jurassic Mark would be Jurazzlefassic Marzelfark.
Oh, that could get dark quick.
Jurazzlefassic Marzelfark. Yeah.
How are you doing that?
So I used to be able to just roll off the tongue like, Wuzzlefunsipositislefime. There Wuzzlefuzz a Dozzlefog who Wezzlefagged his Tazelfail.
Wow.
And so you'd go into like,
That is impressive.
just keep going. But you knew what I said, right?
No, but I feel
No?
like I was just at a Pentecostal church and I liked it. And I liked it a lot. Yeah, it makes me want to go to church this Sunday.
It needs less interpretation.
Yeah, you can't speak whatever your special language is.
I can't remember what
unless
we
there's someone
called
there
it.
to interpret.
That's right.
Yeah, in which case you should say silent. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
So good. The brain is a fascinating thing.
Okay, it is. Sorry, I cut you off because I got excited to say something, but the brain is a fascinating thing. Continue.
That's all I had.
Oh, see, it is. Do you ever like have this Rolodex moment where you're like, do you hear an echo? Where you're like, okay, what's that lady's name? Starts with a J.
Diane.
Exactly. Smooth. No, but actually, I'm usually right. I'm usually in the right letters. So how is that little alphabetized system going in my brain? Like, do you remember that movie starring so-and-so and starts with an S?
Scanners. When you went, all I could think of is scanners. You're going to blow my head off.
But I'm just saying my brain
Scan
alphabetizes. I don't ask it to. You'd think it would categorize like by genre. No.
So
It's alphabetized, my brain.
my wife's version of that is it'll be like short, like 4-letter name, 3-letter name, or whatever it is. And so it'll literally be like starts with a J, Diane. It was a short name. It's just how her brain works. But I can.
So she will do it that way, like starts with a J and land on Diane?
Yes. Yeah.
How?
I don't know, because it's filed under short name. And I would go, okay, so she's talking about like a coworker, something short coworker name.
Yeah, you're filtering.
Yeah. So yeah, I speak her language.
That's good.
Yeah, that's good. After all this time, it's a good thing.
That's like if you ever played Taboo with somebody that you were really close with, and it's just like, the Kermit the Frog. Yep.
Yeah. How did you guys do that? Finding a way to cheat. Yeah, the brain is fascinating the way it can mangle up.
Or not. Like complete blankness. For guys, anyway. My least favorite question is, what are you thinking right now?
Well, it could be horrific.
Or it could be nothing.
Or it could be amazing.
I actually have the ability to shut off thinking and just...
I had a great one.
Like the hum of a freezer in the basement. That's my brain sometimes.
When the compressor goes... And there's just silence. That's what's going on in my brain.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, so this last Sunday was funny. I was having some lunch with my kids, and I like full out head cocked to the side, eyes glaze over, and just went to a different place for 10 seconds.
Right.
And to which my kids, hey Dad, and asked, where were
Come
you?
in, Dad. Come in, Dad.
Where did you just go? Because it was very clear that I was not present. And I, previous to the lunch, I was having a conversation with a friend who's invited me to come to a stock car race and to go see him in the pits.
Oh, wait, like he's racing. He's not just
He's in the
tickets.
He's in the pit crew, and he's invited me to come be a part of that pit crew.
What?
Yeah.
So is this coming up?
It's
still?
coming up. I will tell more after. So I actually have some story to tell.
Sweet.
So in my brain, I cocked to the side, and I was envisioning changing tires, and the car rolled back over top of me, and I was being pinned by the car, but I turned my head to the side so that I didn't get my melon crushed, but it did grab the inner part of my thigh and was tearing
in
open.
your thinking.
And all of that happened in like just seconds. Yeah, the full like fantasy, it didn't happen. And so when people say, what are you thinking? It's like, you probably don't want to know.
You don't want to know.
No, I could be thinking about nothing. I could be thinking about driving off this cliff and killing us all.
And you might, but all that, I think that's you're training your brain. The what ifs. You're actually going to
fly off the cliff.
Not that are you worried about anything? Nah.
No.
But your brain's already worked out
if
a few
I fly
things.
off this cliff, how will they find me?
No, but in your pit stop scenario,
well,
you may have saved your life. Because you have pre-planned.
If I get run over, I'm going to put my head to the side.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to save my head. As long as I don't get my inner thigh artery thing, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'll just be sitting there sizzling underneath the stock car.
And then who's laughing now, kids?
Yeah.
Your dad's not dead.
It's like my own personal Final Destination movie. Differing ways that... have you seen any of this franchise?
What's it called again?
Final Destination.
Is that what it's called? Where like...
Final Destination. People kind of get a premonition of what's going to happen, and then like over the next series of minutes, it unfolds that death is coming for them.
Right, but they're avoiding it.
Right,
they're dodging it.
Right.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I just would have never. That's in the wrong. It's been filed in the wrong spot. I think.
Yeah, it's under R. Yeah, movie rejects. But anyways, it is sometimes. In these scenarios, maybe it is that small little remembrance of being saved by the stock car that has a big outcome.
Yeah.
Maybe it happens that way.
Like small, little it's the butterfly that flapped its wings.
It's that
small
next thing. Insert next analogy here.
How about this?
The tail wagging the dog.
It is the tail wagging the dog.
That is today's idiom, wag the dog.
Wagging the dog.
Whizzle the dizzle. Wag the dog. If you whizzle when you dizzle, be a sweetie and wipe the seedy. One more time.
Tail wagging the dog.
Yeah, there you go. Tail wagging the dog.
That's so funny.
Basically, it's what you said. It's something little in control of a larger entity.
Something little versus something
large. But it's
large.
not like... But it's not really intended to. Like a tail is not meant to wag the dog. So it's not like a rudder of a ship that's little but in control of the whole thing.
No, but your tongue could be a wag the dog, I would think.
Like?
Because it's so small and it has massive...
And it wags.
And it has massive outcome.
Huh. Interesting.
But I think more like, is it just that something like small versus something large? Like, what would be, say, the difference between a dog and a marine biologist?
Fur. Collar.
Well,
Is it a female? Because I could call her.
A dog wags its tail, but a marine biologist tags a whale. Think about that.
Is that a skinny original?
It's not. It's in the Rolodex of the mind. It's under F.
For like grade school? Grade 5?
Under D for dad joke.
Wait, F for what?
That's what.
Funny?
No, it doesn't make sense.
I'm like, there's no F words in that joke.
No.
That's funny though.
Wagging the dog.
That's just punny enough that I'm like, that might have been a skinny original.
No, it's
A skizzle original.
It's stupid enough to
original.
Occupy one of my brain cells for eternity.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
See, the brain, the brizzle.
Well, something small, like that has massive outcomes on a bigger thing. It's supposed to be the dog wagging its tail, but the wag the tail means more.
Yeah, it is something small and control of something bigger, but it's also manipulative, I think might be a key.
I think of it in a political landscape.
Yeah, we're going to get into
Wag the
origins,
dog.
and it's pretty much designated to the political realm. But
It's from the movie Wag the Dog that I think political, but
yeah, no, that's for sure the example, but no, it goes back. We'll get into it. It's has been, probably forever will be political, but which is weird because you in the definition of it, something small, like for example, I spent a couple years when I was really little on a farm, and I think my dad was and still is a bus driver, but I think we had some sort of rent discount or something to help out also on the farm. So lots of stories for the short time we lived there. But they had a barn with cattle, and my dad would sometimes let them out and do the thing. But there was one bull that had, like right out of a cartoon. I didn't know it was real. A big metal ring in its nose.
nice. Okay.
And they if that thing got ornery, if my dad could get his finger into that ring, just give it a little twist, I mean, that bull would drop to its knees and just go wherever he let it. Like,
Wow.
full control. But that's almost like a rudder on a ship more than it is a tail wagging the dog.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't have that manipulative aspect that you're talking about.
Yeah. It'd be
not,
like,
it's not, maybe it's not less like small controls something big. It's the wrong order of how things should be naturally.
yeah. It's like, is there any other example, animal or otherwise, like a dog wags its tail? Like your curtains blow in the wind. It's like the curtains controlling the weather.
Wow, did you just make that up?
Yeah, but that's closer
That's crazy.
to what the tail wagging the dog means.
That's nuts that you just made that up.
Really?
I'm blown away.
So are the curtains.
I'm ready to just drop the mic, say
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Move along. The curtains control the weather. Wow.
Yeah. That's that kind of, that's, yeah, see? The curtains.
Wow. I like that. Yeah. Whoa.
Do you know what Snoop Dogg calls the fatty part of his steak?
Wait a minute. Let me think about it. The lardizzle.
The grizzle.
Oh man. Yeah.
What do you call it?
The lardizzle. Who lardizzled all over my steak? Well, that's just how it goes. We should probably at least take a peek into where this bad girl comes
I
from.
suppose that's what we're here for.
Yeah, let's do it.
I said some words. Where'd they go? Where'd they go? No one can know. I turned around.
A rizzle.
And looked behind.
Behizzle.
Those words came from another mind.
Mizzle.
Origin.
Or a jizzle.
Or a jizzle. That's not good.
All right. So wag the dog comes from a longer expression, which we've already said, the tail wagging the dog. The tail wagging the dog is an American idiom. Okay, I went down some rabbit trails on this one, so I nerded out in the research, which gets, like I said, rabbit trail, but you'll see.
Yeah.
Wagging the dog is an American idiom that dates back to at least the 1870s. So research, I'm stealing some research here. Research by Gary Martin for the UK-based website Phrase Finder. That's where I got this.
Okay.
In an 1872 local newspaper, the Daily Republican, it says, quote, calling to mind Lord Dundreary's conundrum, the Baltimore American thinks that for the Cincinnati Convention to control the Democratic Party would be the tail wagging the dog. So that's an 1872 newspaper immediately being used for political purposes. But it says, calling to mind Lord Dundreary's conundrum. So I'm like, well, who's Lord Dundreary? So
What's his challenge?
This is what's interesting. Lord Dundreary is from the very popular play Our American Cousin, which was written in 1858. That's the play that Abraham Lincoln was watching when he was killed by John Wilkes Booth. Side fun. Well, not for him. I think it was on the side. In the play, there's a character named Lord Dundreary, and he's like a, I don't want to say bumbling, but he's a character that constantly utters confused catchphrases. So wrong words and whatever. And so in that play, he says, now I've got another. So this is him speaking, Dundreary. Now I've got another. Why does a dog waggle his tail? Flo replies, upon my word, I never inquired. Dundreary, because the tail can't waggle the dog, ha ha. So that's his line in there. Just a stupid pun kind of based one-liner in the play. So that's where this first quote in the newspaper in 1872 is remembering Lord Dundreary's one line in the play. So then, talking about that character in that play, they started saying there are people who they became known as Dundrearyisms.
Oh.
When you say...
Is there a book?
Probably, but I kept seeing Yogi Berra as an example. Okay. So apparently he's kind of famous for fumbling his sentences. So the one that came up a lot where Yogi Berra says, Texas has a lot of electrical votes, which... he wasn't trying to be funny. He just mispronounced or used the wrong word. So words that sound the same but mean completely electrical versus electoral.
I see.
He just said the wrong word, and apparently that was classic Yogi Berra. But Dundreary, in this 1850 whatever play, that was written into his character as always fumbling his words. So I'm like, oh, that's interesting. They're called Dundrearyisms because of this play. I'm like, are they called that now? They're not actually called that anymore. That's kind of spun off of that play. They're called malapropism. There we go. Or a malaprop is the mistaken use of an incorrect word in place of a word with a similar sound, resulting in a nonsensical, sometimes humorous utterance.
I know what you're talking about. It happens sometimes with
I've
people.
got some examples.
Oh, great.
But the word malapropism, it comes from, here's the funny part, because we got Dundrearyisms coming from the character of that play. Malapropism comes from a character named Mrs. Malaprop in Rich Brinsley Sheridan's 1775 play, so 100 years older than that, called The Rivals, where Mrs. Malaprop frequently misspeaks for the purpose of comedy by using words that have similar sound but the wrong meanings. So it's so interesting that that malapropism was named after a character in a play because they wrote her that way. And the same thing, 100 years later, Dundrearyisms from this big famous play for the same type of character.
And now we have Yogi Berra.
And the first person to, the first person to use the word malaprop to describe it was Lord Byron in 1814. But he also was referring to that character. It's like a malaprop.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So let's see. They happen in regular speech. So here's some examples, quote that the media goes to town with. The Welsh Conservative leader Andrew Davies encouraged the Conservative Party conference to make breakfast a success, meaning Brexit. Actually, accidentally said funny. Breakfast. Former Taoiseach of Ireland warned his country against upsetting the apple tart. Should have been apple cart. Former Chicago Mayor Richard Daley.
That's awesome.
Referred to a tandem bicycle as a tantrum bicycle, and also made mention of Alcoholics Unanimous.
That's fantastic.
So the list goes on. Famous people. Former world heavyweight champion boxer Mike Tyson, being asked about his next plans moment after losing the world title fight with Lennox Lewis, declared, "I might fade into Bolivian." Yeah.
That's so good.
So characters, tons of characters written to be that way.
I like that
tons
there's a
of
word
examples.
to describe that.
Yeah, Dundrearyism or malapropism. There was a third one that too many rabbit trails that kind of meant the same thing. Yeah.
So what you need to do today, Village children, is when you're at the water cooler and you drop some misgarbled thing, and it's like, oh, that's a malapropism. Did you know what that is? And then it makes you sound like your word of the day.
Malapropism.
That's a malapropism. And they're like, whoa, this guy is smart. We should give him a raise.
All right, here you go. Back to the origins. Merged in the 1960s in an effort to caution business people against making decisions solely on the basis of tax concern. The saying was used repeatedly: "Don't let the tax tail wag the investment dog." And so, sort of still political, but it's leaning outside of the political realm. But whatever. Wag the Dog went on to develop its own specialized political meaning, specifically in 1997 with the movie called Wag the Dog. And so here's where it gets funny, because it's based on a novel, but the plot revolved around efforts to distract attention from a presidential scandal by fabricating a war. And this, art imitating life or vice versa.
People have used this. Yeah.
Real politics, not long after the release, 1998, like literally a year later when Bill Clinton's scandal with Monica Lewinsky broke, he was accused of wagging the dog because 3 days after admitting it, he ordered missile strikes against 2 countries.
Right.
And then Donald Trump's got to work his way in there. In April 2017, Trump's airstrike on Syria was referred to the same thing, to get attention drawn away from his approval ratings. At the same time with his connections to Russia and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So it stays in that political world, but it's funny. So it's used, that's why I threw in the word manipulative earlier, because the tail wagging the dog is almost the magician's look over here.
Right. There's the rabbit over here.
Yeah.
Well, the magic's happening, and wherever they tell you to look, that's not where the magic happened.
That's right.
It's already happened like 5 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
Cool.
So there you go. Dundrearyisms, malapropisms.
I'm going to try my best to not forget that one, but malapropism.
Yeah, you might need it later.
Okay.
Malapropism.
Got it. Picking up what you're putting down.
Here, this one's a little glitchy, but it's a good one.
Don't trust Google Maps. It's the cops tracking us, steering us away from their own corruption. Wag the dog, Alana. Wag the dog.
Google Maps, eh?
It's just trying to distract us. Well, anything that's a distraction, but you do that. I think we all do that in some way when the heat is on you for something. Like,
oh, we all do.
You blame shift, or you like, look at this instead.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this.
And that comes in so many forms.
Kids do that in school. It's like they'll say blatantly, like, if we can get our teacher talking about something different, if I can get the boss talking about something different at the end of that meeting, then it might not get to the part that I'm not ready for.
Yeah. So that would be a simpler version of the tail wagging the dog if you're... Yep.
Yeah. So interesting. What tell us more about the thing that happened this weekend. What you did this weekend. Oh, they're interested? Oh, okay. It's like, no, they don't care.
So great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So there you go. That is the end of Origins. All I have to say about Wag the Dog.
I love a good malapropism. Malapropism.
Exactly.
It's awesome. Well, we've worked through today. Hope you're a little smarter. We should get into some riddling.
Riddling is a game we like to play that takes a 2-part trivia-based question and then requires a 2-part overlapping answer, overlapping by sound, syllable, word, words, whatever you want. So, for example, last week our idiom was like a chicken with its head cut off, and we left you with panicking crazy like poultry. Let me try that again. Oh yeah, this was a funny one. Panicking crazy like poultry while describing Daisy Dukes.
Chicken with his head cut offs.
Yeah, I added jean shorts.
Cut off jean shorts?
Like a chicken with its head cut off jean shorts.
That's funny.
There you go. So that's how you play the game. I got a couple for today with today's idiom in mind.
Me too. Let's see. I'll go first with a couple, and the legitimate children race in there and see if you can beat Jurassic.
Let's try and remember to read them twice.
Okay. Conference stuff we all get, though small, controls something bigger. conference stuff we all get, though small, controls something bigger.
I'm all over this. I wanted to use that word. I couldn't think of a description. Swag the dog.
Swag the dog.
Wow, that's barely overlap. Like
Yeah.
one letter ahead of it.
I was going to go into a thing about cutoffs.
Cut off swag the dog?
No, the cutoffs from the Daisy Duke.
Oh.
Yeah. Chicken with head cutoffs.
All right, I got one for you.
All right, give it to me.
Madam Vice President Harris is another word for Dundrearyism. No? Oh,
It's a prop. You know what's sad is I tried to commit that word to my brain. I couldn't even get 5 minutes.
malapropism.
Malapropism. Kamalapropism?
There you go.
Wow. Is that good? Close enough?
Kamalapropism.
Hope I didn't butcher her name too badly, but whatever.
Kamala Harris. You nailed it.
Kamalapropism. Okay, here we go. Next one through. Though a small part can control the larger, Dwayne Chapman finds all the bail jumpers.
Well, I'm not even going to answer because mine is political idiom referring to a small entity controlling a larger one, starring Dwayne Chapman as a fugitive catcher.
So
So
hopefully,
pick whichever one you like.
Illegitimate children, please reach out to us for that through Instagram at the.village.idiom or email us thevillageidiompodcast@gmail.com, or whether it's the Facebooks, the YouTubes, or the Twitters at 3 Minutes Gone.
There you go. Bingo bango.
If it's just the low-hanging fruit, like I should
Sometimes.
just go for something different. Well, that's how that goes.
It happens.
It was fun putting today's episode together. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm Skinny.
I am Jurassic Bark.
And these are the Village Idioms.
It is. Bark is dog.
Can you wag the dog?
And that's 3 minutes gone.